I thought I'd never see my ex-wife again. Then she returned holding a little girl's hand. The day my ex-wife walked back into my life, I nearly dropped the piece of oak I was sanding. 5 years had passed since she disappeared with nothing but a handwritten note saying she couldn't keep living the life we had built together. I had buried every memory of her beneath endless hours of work in my little woodworking shop. I truly believed I would never see her again. But on that bright autumn afternoon, she stood in my doorway holding a little girl's hand, her eyes filled with fear, regret, and a silent plea that instantly shattered the walls around my heart. Before we continue, if you believe kindness deserves a second chance and that forgiveness can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Echoes for more emotional stories that remind us humanity still exists. For years I had lived a quiet life in the countryside, building custom furniture and birdhouses for families around town. The workshop had become my shelter from loneliness. Every chair I carved and every table I finished distracted me from memories of the woman I once loved more than anything. Friends insisted I should move on completely, but some wounds never disappear. They simply become quieter with time. When she stepped inside the workshop, I noticed how different she looked. The confident smile I remembered had been replaced by exhaustion. Her once elegant clothes were now plain and worn. The little girl beside her, no older than 6, clutched a drawing of a bluebird and hid behind her mother's coat whenever our eyes met. The child looked frightened but curious, as though she could sense this meeting would change all of our lives. I wanted answers. I wanted to know why she had left without giving us a chance to fight for our marriage. I wanted to know who the little girl was and why she had come back after all these years. But before anger could speak louder than compassion, I noticed the bruises she tried desperately to hide beneath the sleeves of her coat. Suddenly, my questions no longer seemed as important. She explained everything through trembling tears. After leaving me, she believed another relationship would make her happier. Instead, she found herself trapped in a life filled with manipulation, fear, and heartbreak. The little girl was her daughter, born into a home that never truly knew peace. When the situation became unbearable, she gathered every ounce of courage she had left and fled with only a small suitcase, hoping the only men who had ever truly shown her kindness might still open the door. Every word reopened old scars inside me. Part of me remembered the sleepless nights, the endless wondering, and the pain of abandonment. Another part remembered the vows we once made and the woman she had been before life pulled us apart. Standing before me wasn't the person who had broken my heart years ago. She was someone carrying unbearable guilt and a frightened child who had done nothing wrong. The following weeks were anything but easy. I offered them the small guest room above my workshop until they could find somewhere safe. The little girl remained quiet, speaking only when necessary. Every loud sound made her jump. At night she sometimes woke from terrifying dreams that echoed through the old wooden house. Slowly, I began carving small toys and birdhouses with her. She painted them with bright colors while I taught her how it could become something beautiful if treated with patience instead of force. Watching her smile for the first time changed something inside me. The bitterness I had protected for years began to soften. She reminded me that children don't choose the storms they are born into. They only hope someone will teach them that sunshine still exists beyond the clouds. My ex-wife found work at the local library, determined to rebuild her life honestly. She attended counseling, volunteered at community events, and spent every free moment proving she was no longer running from her mistakes. Trust did not return overnight. There were awkward dinners, painful silences, and memories neither of us could erase. But every small act of responsibility became another brick rebuilding the bridge between us. The turning point arrived during the town's annual harvest festival. The little girl proudly entered a birdhouse competition using one we had built together. She won first place. As she stood on the stage holding her ribbon, she looked toward the crowd searching for us. Without thinking, she ran directly into my arms before hugging her mother. In that simple moment, I realized family isn't always defined by blood or by perfect histories. Sometimes it is created through consistent acts of love, forgiveness, and showing up when someone needs you most. Months later, the old workshop felt alive again. Children's laughter replaced silence. Fresh flowers appeared in the kitchen every weekend. The little girl filled empty shelves with drawings of birds, forests, and smiling families. One picture showed 3 people standing outside a wooden workshop beneath the words, home is where kindness stays. I never forgot the pain of being left behind. Some memories remain permanent chapters in our lives. But I also discovered that forgiveness is not about pretending the hurt never happened. It is about refusing to let yesterday steal tomorrow. My ex-wife never asked to erase the past. Instead, she worked every single day to build a better future, and watching her transformation taught me that genuine change is possible when people choose responsibility over excuses. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, share it with someone who still believes in second chances, and subscribe to Kindness Echoes so together we can spread more stories that remind the world compassion is never wasted. Special request, before this story ends, please comment with one word, forgiveness, if you believe kindness can heal even the deepest wounds. Years after that unforgettable afternoon, I often looked around my workshop and smiled. The place that once echoed with loneliness had become filled with laughter, hope, and new beginnings. The woman I thought I would never see again had returned holding a little girl's hand, and although neither of us could rewrite the past, together we discovered something even more valuable. Sometimes life doesn't bring people back to restore what was lost. Sometimes it brings them back to create something stronger, kinder, and more beautiful than either of them ever imagined. And in the end, I realized the greatest masterpiece I would ever build wasn't made from wood at all, it was a family rebuilt through forgiveness, courage, and unconditional kindness.